Hey, welcome back to the summary page. We are almost there, and thanks for having the patience to go through this. But this it will give you a lot of power to understand how the development works and what are the things that you can do with the feasibility and how you can do them, how you can allocate costs, project, everything. So this is a really good piece of software, and I have put in a lot of heart and soul into putting this together. So, like always, the first thing that we do when we get to any sheet is that we expand everything and we click on save and refresh so that all the data that we have, we already have in each section, it just collates everything and brings everything to the summary page. But the good part about the summary page is that it'll show you the cash flow on a month by month basis simultaneously. So yes, it is a big sheet, and it sometimes takes a little bit longer to do these calculations, especially because there are calculations here that are going in a loop 50 times. Plus, it will also depend. The speed of this is also going to depend on your internet connection speed. Always remember, if you have a connection that keeps breaking in the middle, you will see an error over here. Every now and then the connection breaks. It has nothing to do with the add-on. We've done extensive testing on this thing, and it works fine. It even works in really bad internet connections, so long as the internet connection is constant. So there you have it. This is all your summary sheet populated, done, ready to go. It has all sorts of metrics here that we can go through, and I can explain what they are. And then it has your sensitivity analysis over here. So there are hardly any input cells here. I mean, we've got sensitivity analysis for sales and cost, and I'll explain that in a second. And we've got two other input cells over here for net present value and also the residual value of the land based on a target margin that you want to achieve. So mainly four, just two percentages and all these things. So with this training, you also get the advanced feasibility training that explains what each of these things are. So I don't really have to get into the detail for all of them. I'll just zoom out and quickly run you through what everything is, because that just makes everything easier. So we've got a percentage of TDC over here and a percentage. So each cost head has a percentage of the total development costs. And we have the same thing happening here for a percentage of GRV, that is percentage of total sales. So what they are, and what is that total that is reflected as a percentage of that sale. Each of these cost heads, when they actually start, that means what month do we start incurring expenses in each of these cost heads, and how long does the duration last for. Now I was adding these values willy-nilly when I was trying to fill out that data, because I wanted to fill out every cell and show you the feasibility in its full capacity. So it tells you when that expense started, when it finished, how many time periods did it go on for. Now this shows way too many time periods over here, 46 months, whereas the project isn't that long. So you can figure out what's going on. It shouldn't be 46. So you go into your development cost and see, hey, what happened here? Yeah, because I put in 21 time periods for the accounting of the project and for the admin bank fees and everything. And if you see that somewhere along here, I've got, I selected 1st of March 24, whereas the project would have just already finished by then. So if I go back and look at my timeline, 1st of March in 24 is somewhere here. So I allocated certain costs that were outside our timeline, which is wrong. But that is why we need this timeline and understanding. So these can very easily be corrected. I can go in and see, I can allocate these costs within our timeline. So if I go into my development costs, I'll just copy that down over here. And then if I want to update this thing, I would just go save next, and save next. In order to update the summary sheet, and I'll show you before we go, but I don't want you to wait around every time I do a save next for this. But a good practice would be that once you've done everything and you're ready to finalize your feasibility, I would go back into my project setup, recheck everything, and then while I'm rechecking everything, I'm pressing save and next to get to the final summary sheet. This will also show us the cash flow that we have, how the project is spanned out, but it will not see the feasibility does not let you plan out cash flow beyond your final timeline. So that your interest is not incurred after that time period. So it will stop where your construction ends and your sales are settled, because that is how far that is as far as it can go. So those are the things that are important. You need to make sure that these are taken into account. All your other income, you can look at your cash flow, see how it is coming along. You've got all these sections here that you can use to scroll back and forth to be able to see every month's cash flow. You can drag them and put them wherever you want to, so that you can look at what the cash flow was for budgeting and estimation for the month of September 21, if you wanted to see that. So we've got earnings before interest and taxes. We've got our finance and interest cost. Everything is just collated here automatically. We've got our total sales. These are all different metrics. They're all explained in the advanced feasibility training. Now, what we can do here is we've got a net present value. And if we change that percentage over there, it will calculate an NPV value based on the percentage that we put in over there. So, and the same thing will happen for residual value of land for target development. So for target margin. So let's say I have to make 35% for this development. This will calculate the value of the land based on the 35% development margin that I want to make. Now, these figures are blown out of proportion because I was just putting in values in every cell possible to show you the full possibility of this feasibility. So there's a lot of profit here at the moment. But when you do a proper feasibility for a project, you will find that if you put in if you want to make 20% on it, it will give you a residual value of land based on all your costs and cash flows and everything that you put together. So let's say I want to make 50% on this, and my net present value, I want to calculate my NPV based on another 20% or something like that. And then if I go save and refresh, again, before I press that button, I scroll down and look at my sensitivity analysis. What I do want to see is that if my if my sales fall by 5% and my costs go up by 5%, what is my feasibility going to look like? This is for your sales. This is your development margin on cost. This is the impact on the profit. So from 8.7 million, it will fall to 5.1 million. And what you have to see is look at your worst case scenario and make sure that you are happy with that. Are you happy accepting that if all the bad things were to happen to the development, delay, cost, market collapse, all these things. So you have to make sure, because anytime you do a development, you have to have a contingency and backup plan for all these things. So that's what this is. The development margin on cost is about 37. It will go from 64 to 37 because we didn't put anything in there. And then we've got our return on equity that can come down as well from 123% to 73%, because I'm almost doubling, more than doubling my equity that I'm putting in over here. Well, almost doubling, not more than doubling. And this is all the debt. So if we've got all our land finance, when did it start, when did it finish, what did we borrow, and it'll show that I went this way, then we had 280,000. It's getting picked up from the finance sheet somewhere over here. What you don't have to worry about is that this is the extra bit that it is getting picked up because we haven't saved and refreshed it over here. So we'll do that and come back to our summary section again after going through save and next for each of these sheets. Hey, and we are done. We've gone and save and next to everything, and we are done. So you see that 280 is gone. That was coming up because we had, in the previous video, we had changed this back to no, but we hadn't gone up and paid the loan out for the full amount, so it was still showing the $280,000 balance sitting there. So that is why this is all cash flow that you can have a look at. You can figure out the money that you would need at every point, and your main metrics are right here, which is your development profit and your development margin on the cost and your development margin on the revenue. You've got your hurdle rates over here. Your max debt is about 48.11. Developers equity is about 51.89. Net present value, we did that calculation. We put in 20% and it still comes out good because it's a mock project. Then we've got residual value of land, target margin, 50%. So that means even if I would have paid 2.5 million for the value of the land, I would have still made about 50% development margin on the project, because when I started off, we were starting off with a very small project, but then it all got escalated because we added all these units on that little $1.2 million block of land. So it looks like I hit a gold mine. So it happens all the time. If you find a site and change its zoning from low density to a higher density project site, and then suddenly you'll be able to see all these things. So in here we've got cost analysis detail. We've got our land acquisition cost. All of this is about residential, total area, net saleable area, total area for commercial, commercial net leasable area. So residential plus commercial, whatever the total area is, whatever it is costing you, a dollar per square meter or square feet, whatever unit of measurement that you have used in terms of cost. And then this is your residential, commercial, net leasable area and net saleable area all together. So that's where this is at, and this is all our sensitivity analysis right here that we have. We can come in here and change this to 5.5. It's pretty good. Let's change that to 10.10 and see what happens. And I can go save and refresh and see what the result will look like, so that we can look at this our worst case scenario. So what will happen here is that they will start jumping up and down in increments of 10%. So we will have a sales value at 0. That means everything goes according to plan, and we get the sales at the price that we have estimated, and all our costs are exactly as we have estimated. That's what it will look like. So there you have it, with a 10% sensitivity analysis, and it shows what the project can or cannot make in terms of return on equity, development margin, and development profit. I'll see you in the last video about this feasibility application, lead developer, and we will discuss project related site value.